It's impossible to keep up with minimalism. Tired of minimalism? It's all about maximalism now. You only live once. Buy whatever you want. It's just another trend. James Clear once said, "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." These words have been proven to be true for me, especially when it comes to my minimalism journey. I've watched countless documentaries, read articles and books, tried so many minimalism tips and tricks, and I've taken bits and pieces of everything and finally put systems in my life to make minimalism possible for me for the long run. Today, I wanted to share with you some of my favorite ones that I still use today and probably will for a very long time. I should mention, although I call these rules, I'm loosely using that term, but they're more like guidelines that I've adjusted to fit my current life, and I hope that you'll do the same. Okay, let's get into it. I always stick by this rule, buy nice or buy twice, and it has never proven me wrong. But I think it's important to establish what nice really means, because it doesn't always mean something more expensive or something designer. I found that it's more about the durability and the material and the performance of the item. I've had multiple instances where I would buy two different products from the same company, but for whatever reason, there was a stark difference in the quality. So it's so important for us to be a smart consumer. Some things that are really helpful for me to know is to do a little bit of research beforehand and just knowing what materials usually last longer, learn how to take care of that thing. For clothing, paying attention to the zipper, the buttons, the hem, and the stitching. And if I happen to find that good quality item, I feel like it's always worth going for it, even if it is a little bit more expensive. It's so much cheaper in the long run than having to buy the same thing over and over again. We're all so connected to our tech devices now, and I feel like we are just one click away from buying whatever we want at any given time, especially if you have your credit card information saved or you have your digital wallet on your phone. Then it just makes it so much easier, and I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. I've talked about this so much, but I feel like having a wish list has been the most helpful tool in slowing me down and kind of filtering out those impulse purchases. I personally like to wait 30 days, but definitely the bigger the purchase, the longer I wait. So here is a little peek into my current wish list. And as you can see, I have a lot of things on there because I've been trying not to buy anything since I'm moving. So I've been just living life and taking note of the gaps in my life. And I've been just kind of adding to the list over time, which will come in really handy for when I get settled into my new place. There's a social media trend going around on TikTok. It's called under consumption core. It's all about keeping the items for longer, using up the items that you have before you purchase another one. I know it sounds like it should be the norm, but because our culture is so materialistic, I feel like this is kind of the counter movement, kind of like minimalism. And honestly, I'm all for it. I don't see anything wrong with glamorizing cutting up t-shirts and using them as rags, or showing empty bottles of the toiletries that you've used up. I just hope that this is not just a passing trend and that we can really go back to this mindset and lifestyle. The core of this trend, I think it is the one in, one out rule, which I apply to my own life on a regular basis. If I'm gonna buy something new, then I have to use up and get rid of the existing or old item. This way, we're using up all the products that we buy instead of just accumulating clutter for no reason. The no duplicate rule, it kind of goes hand in hand with the previous point. Just like it sounds, it's avoiding owning multiple items that essentially serve the same purpose. Obviously, this doesn't apply to everything, For example, linens. I need multiple sets of linens because I'm not always doing laundry. But for a lot of things in my life, skincare, makeup, toiletries, kitchen stuff, office supplies, I feel like this really is my rule. And even for clothing, for example, I have multiple jeans, but they're all very different in styles, so I can create multiple silhouettes and different outfits with it. The 25-minute rule, also known as the Pomodoro method or Pomodoro technique. This is a time management technique where you set the timer for 25 minutes and you focus on your work. When the timer goes off, you take a break for 5 minutes and repeat. Something about breaking up the work into different intervals, I feel like it makes it feel more manageable, and that's why it works. 25 minutes really doesn't seem like much, so within that time, I don't allow myself to check my phone, emails, and be distracted, and I just focus on what I need to do, whether it's for work or working out, doing chores or decluttering. I mean, I use it for all different kinds of situations. The point is that just even 25 minutes of focused work is so much more efficient than hours and hours of unfocused work where you're constantly distracted. To me, this is the beauty of minimalism or essentialism, whatever you want to call it. The 90-90 rule is a really helpful decluttering rule if you haven't used the item in the past 90 days, and if you don't think that you're going to use the item for the next 90 days, then it's probably time to let go of that item. I've talked about the hanger trick before, where you turn all of your hangers backwards and actually see which items that you wear and turn them forward over the course of the 90 days. I feel like there's so many different reasons why it's so difficult for us to let go of something, but one of the biggest is kind of that uncertainty. What if we're gonna need that item again? And the 90-90 rule really works because it puts everything into perspective, and it really shows if you haven't used it in the last 90 days, then it's probably clutter. And for whatever reason, if I need it again, then I know that I can find it again, or borrow it, or buy it again if it's not too expensive. It makes it easy to kind of let go. Most of us, when we're buying something, I feel like we always think about how much it is, but minimalist always sees the cost behind the price tag. Some of the things I always ask myself is, how much energy and time is it going to take from me? How much value will it give me? How much space is it going to take up? Does it serve multi-purpose? And after calculating with all of these different factors, that is the true cost. My goal is never to live so frugally that I'm never making mistakes or never wasteful and I'm never overextending myself. I know that that's not life. However, I feel like having this kind of mindset is so helpful from me exhausting all of my resources on the wrong things, because we all know that we only have a limited amount of resources. Let me know in the comments which rule was the most helpful for you. Till next time, take care, and I'll talk to you soon.